Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this Lenovo Legion 5 15IMH05. So this one has a bad keyboard, so we're going to be taking it completely apart to get the keyboard out. Alright, we're going to be using a JIS1 screwdriver to remove all the screws. You do want to keep them in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put them flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern I remove them. Alright, if this video helps you out, please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. If you can't help out that way, it'd be greatly appreciated if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on them as well, because that's what the YouTube algorithm likes to see. Alright, anyways, we're going to continue getting all these screws out, and then we're going to pop this open, get the whole motherboard out, and then replace the keyboard. Alright, so all of that, and we've got 4 more down here. Okay, I actually have another video where I took one of these models apart before, but I didn't get to the keyboard, so if I miss anything here, you can watch that one as well. Okay, so now that we got all the screws, let's see if we can pop this out. I forget how I did that, but usually what I do is I get in there with my fingernails, and then I'll push with my thumb on the palm rest, and then pull with my fingers. Let's see if that works. Okay, it looks like it's working. Alright, and now that we kind of got a corner open, what I like to do is pull on it, and then while I'm pulling on it, let's see if I can get in camera, then I just slide my fingernail down. Let's see if that's going to get the other clips to pop or not. Okay, and there we go. So we just continue working our way down. Okay, obviously you can use plastic pry tools for this if you don't have fingernails. Alright, but I like these. They always grow back and they work really well. Okay, so we got that out. Go up to this side, and we got this out. Okay, then we're going to go here. We need to go above this to pop this side out, I believe. Okay, and yep, we are getting in there, and there you go. I'm actually pulling and pushing with my thumb down here, okay, if you're wondering. Okay, so same thing with this side. Get in there, and we're going to do the same thing, pulling and pushing with the thumbs. And you can see it's unclipping, but there's one clip under here we missed. There we go. Okay, let's see. Now that we got the sides and fronts, let's see. Can we wiggle this off, or do we need to pop something else out here? Okay, so these clips kind of go around the back here, and these clips feel like they're going to be tough to remove. So, oh, I guess not. So what I did was I kind of just twisted it that way while kind of lifting it up, and there we go. We got the bottom cover off. I don't know why it's so dusty here, but on the inside it's actually not that dusty. Okay, so we're going to be, well, this part is dusty, so we need to clean that up, but first let's go ahead and remove the battery. Okay, so first things first is battery removal for this, especially since we're going to be taking everything out of this computer so that we can replace the keyboard. Alright, so battery has a couple screws here. It looks like there's some screws hidden under here. Oh, we're going to have to switch over also to a JIS0 because the JIS1 doesn't work there. Alright, let's go ahead and get these screws out. Again, keep them in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. Alright, and let's go ahead and get this little bracket thingy out of the way. Just like that, and then we'll get this guy up here. Alright, now that we got all of those, we can lift this metal bracket off carefully. There's a thermal pad that helps it sticks on, so be careful. Alright, there's this small SSD here. You can use a full-sized one. It does have the hole for the screw. And then there's also another slot here, which you can put an SSD here, all the way over here, instead of putting this hard drive, okay? So, alright, let's go ahead and continue removing the screws for the battery. You can see there's another one here. Okay, so let's see, how am I going to arrange this? Battery there and there. Okay, and then we got 2 screw batteries at the bottom as well. Okay, remove those as well. Alright, now that we got the 4 battery screws out, we can lift this up from the back. I like to get my finger underneath the cable over here, okay, and then pinch with the other one, and you kind of just move it side to side, and the cable should walk itself out, just like that. Alright, there we go. We got the battery removed. I'm gonna have to clean the dust off this thing. Okay, so the battery model number is right there, L19M4PC0. Alright. Okay, if you're wondering, there is RAM here. There's also a BIOS CMOS RGC battery, real-time clock battery. I'm going to grab here and wiggle this connector to disconnect the BIOS CMOS real-time clock battery. Sorry, I should be zooming in here, but I'm being lazy. Alright, so anyways, we got the RAM slot here. So this is covered by a metal box. I don't really need to open this to do the work that I need to do, but let's go ahead and take a look. There's 2 slots here and only one is being used. We can pop this up and pull that out, and this is a PC4 3200 AA stick of RAM, 8 gigs. You can put a matching one, or you can put 2 16 gig sticks, whatever you want to do. You can upgrade it. Alright, so we're going to close this box back up. Just make sure that the edges of the box line up with the clips, and then we can go ahead and push that back down. Alright, so there we go. We're going to zoom back out. Hopefully they don't have, hopefully they don't have screws hidden underneath. Oh, no, they do. Okay, we're going to have to redo the thermal paste on this one as well. So let me clean out the dust real quick and I'll be back, alright? Alright, I'm getting some deja vu here. I feel like I've worked on this model not too long ago. I don't know. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue removing the screws. I'm switching back to a JIS1 screwdriver. They do have a little hard drive caddy here. We do need to remove that to get to the keyboard, so let's go ahead and remove that. Oh, I guess we have to switch back to the JS0. Sorry, I'm going to leave it zoomed out because I'm going to have to keep moving things around, but this is a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive slot, and they give you all the screws here in this little thing. So yeah, if you ever wanted to add another 2.5-inch SATA hard drive, you can. But at the same time, they have a slot for an M.2 SSD here, so personally I would use that instead because it looks like you can't use both at the same time. Alright, so we're going to remove all these screws here. Only 3, then this lifts out. Oh, they left this connected, so let's zoom in here so you can see how that disconnects. Alright, so here you have a little latch, you just flip that up, okay, and then we can pull it back. There's a blue tab here, you can use that to help pull it back, but since this thing's so heavy, I'm going to go up here, grab the whole cable and pull it. Oh, also there was a little adhesive sticking it down. Okay, so we got the hard drive caddy here. You actually, if you're going to use this, you actually pull these out, and then you can pull this plastic piece out of here. Okay, I don't know if you can see, but it's coming out. But you would actually pull more from this side. Okay, kind of gotta wiggle and pop it off. Okay, so there you go. You can pull this out, and then you would basically throw this plastic thing away, but there are the screws in here, so make sure you take those out, and as well as the SATA connector here. They put it there for safekeeping. Okay, so plug that back on and we'll leave that over there. Okay, what else do we got? We got the SSD down here, which is somewhat blocking stuff, so we're gonna have to remove that. I switched back over to the JIS one screwdriver. Okay, so we're gonna get that, and then it pops up at an angle. You can wiggle and pull that out. Again, you can use a full-sized one. You can put the screw over here. Okay, we're gonna flip this latch up and disconnect the keyboard cable here. So this is for the keyboard, and the keyboard actually uses a really long cable, so this is what the replacement one will look like, and then I guess it folds over that way, and then it folds over again. So we'll have to kind of mimic that when we go to replace the keyboard. But there we go. Keyboard backlight cable looks to be underneath the motherboard. You got the speaker cable here. We're gonna grab the wings and just wiggle and slowly wiggle and pull. Oops, get that hair out of here. Okay, so we're just gonna slowly keep wiggling and pulling, and it should eventually pop out. So just keep doing that, and there we go. Okay, and then we got the wireless antennas. White antenna goes to the white arrow, and the black antenna goes to the black arrow. I just pop them up from the tails like that, and then we can unthread this. Yeah, I feel like I've done this model before. Maybe it was named something else, but it was the same. Okay, this rubber piece just separated from the motherboard. There's not much adhesive on there, so I don't know. You can, if you want, use it, and then let's pull these. Oh no, I guess it's staying attached, so we're gonna leave that attached. And getting this kind of cabling out from here is a little tricky. We don't need to remove that because we don't need to remove that to get to the keyboard, so we're gonna leave that alone. Okay, what else do we got? We got this cable, and if I remember correctly, last time I used some isopropyl alcohol to unstick it, so I don't know. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and take this little metal tool. I'm going to put a little isopropyl alcohol. Oops, sorry, I don't want to use that. I'm going to use my little syringe bottle. I'm going to put a little alcohol on there and get that under, and then we can go ahead and slide through the adhesive. Alright, so just work your way down. Oh, and there we go. Okay, now that we got that, we should be able to lift and pull this cable out. Come on, why is it stuck so strong? Is there adhesive up there as well? I think there is. There we go. Okay, so now we got that cable up. Alright, I think it's about time. Oh man, where are all these hairs in here that are stuck? Okay. Anyways, we got the fan connector here. We're gonna lift or disconnect that one. Just again, same with the wings, and then you just keep wiggling it, and eventually it should walk itself out. Just keep going. Okay. Let's go on this side. Wow, this fan actually, this connector is staying in there really strong. I don't know what's going on there. See, let's try both my thumb and fingernails and keep wiggling and pulling. There we go. It was just, I had to pull harder. Okay, what else? We got this cable, which is the touchpad trackpad connector. We're going to flip that latch up and pull that cable out. It plugs in down here. Okay, what else? We got another fan on this side, so let's go ahead and do that one. And there's not much room here to work, but there we go. Okay. Next thing, yeah, I'm pretty sure I worked on one of these. I peeled off this, the warranty sticker on the other one I worked on, and then I put it back. Okay, let's get under here. So, I think they reuse this model design a lot. Okay, so this thing is not really coming out, right? Oh, there we go. Okay. I just pushed the tool underneath it to scrape it off. Okay, so we got that out. Next thing we're gonna do, oh yeah, I know, I had to replace the charge port on the other one. That's what I remember now. Okay, let's zoom out here. Now we're going to have to go and start removing screws that are holding everything together. So we got the fan screws here. Okay, got that one. Yeah, I remember. I had to, okay, we'll switch back to the JS0. I don't like how they keep switching the screw size and everything. Alright, and then we get that one. Okay, so we got those three out, and then if I remember correctly, we have to remove the whole heatsink because they put this stupid thing here. Technically, if you break that off, then you should be fine pulling the whole fan out easily. Okay, let's see here. We gotta remove some screws from this fan. This one only has two. We'll switch back over to the JS1, and we'll remove this screw. Okay, then let's go ahead and undo the heatsink. So we got this. You just do it until it clicks. There you go. The next one. Next one. There we go. Next two down here. And last one here. Alright, and then once we got all these screws out, we should be able to lift this up. Okay, if it doesn't come off easily, usually you kind of have to like grab the more solid areas and kind of like twist it, like rotate it if you can. Alright, but this one, it popped out relatively easily, so we can lift this out. There's a lot of like hairs and dust in here, so we're gonna have to clean that, and then we can go ahead and get to everything else. Okay. It's a lot of hairs and lint and stuff. Okay, so you can see the old thermal paste, we're gonna have to redo that, so keep that in mind. Anytime you remove a heatsink, you actually want to redo the thermal paste. Okay, are we missing any connectors? We have this connector that's under here, but let's go ahead and set the fan aside first. So there's one fan. Okay, here's the other fan. So, oops, sorry, you didn't see, but basically I just lifted the fan straight up. So we removed that one and we removed that one. Okay, next we gotta disconnect the LCD LVDS connector here. So let's go ahead and flip that latch up. And this is held in with some adhesive. So we're gonna have to do the trick again using a little thin tool here, and then using a little isopropyl alcohol on the tool. And that should flow it underneath and allow you to scrape it up easily, as you can see. Okay, all right, so there we go. Then we'll pull that back. Oh, one thing to take note of, if you're gonna remove this LCD LVDS connector, you do want to open the laptop and press and hold the power button after disconnecting the battery, just to be safe. Alright, otherwise you can fry the backlight circuit, you can fry the screen and other components. Alright, let's go ahead and start disconnecting all these pieces. Looks like, I don't know why, but they use JIS 0 screws, and they keep switching back and forth between JIS 0 and JIS 1. But let's go ahead and continue removing all these. Okay. Alright, we got another bracket here, but we also have this one a little bit lower. Okay, let's get these two screws out. Alright, so the two over here seem to be the longest, so the ones that are holding the USB, or sorry, the charge port bracket. So we'll get that out, or if you want to see, this is what the charge port bracket looks like. Okay, we'll set that aside. And let's see what else we gotta do. The wireless card we don't need to remove, so I'm gonna leave it there. At least I don't think I need to remove it. Do I? Are they hiding screws under? Let's check anyways. Oh, switch back to the JS1. And they're not hiding anything under there, so we can put this back in and get that screw back down. Okay, so there we go. Let's go ahead and see what else. Okay, got that. What else? We got a screw over here. We're gonna switch back over. So there's a screw down here. Alright, let's see what else. Can we lift this now? Are there more hidden screws? It seems like it's lifting. So we're going to carefully, let me actually mark this because I don't think it's marked for a screw being here. Okay, let's go ahead and carefully lift this up, most likely from this side, but it feels like something is holding it down. So let's go ahead and slowly lift here and see what's happening. Okay, I think this part is a screw. Even though it's it holds another screw, so keep that in mind. Alright, and that came from this part, which I believe, had that bracket on it, so put that there. Okay, now we should be able to, yep, we can easily lift this up now, carefully though, because the backlight circuit, or backlight cable is attached, so we'll flip this over, and let's peel this stuff off, and then we'll flip this latch. Once you flip that latch, you can pull that out, and here's the entire motherboard or logic board. There's a random slot here, which, oh, RGB one. So if you want to add some RGB lights, I guess that's what that's for. Okay, we're gonna set this motherboard aside now, and we gotta be careful because we've got lots of junk over here. Oh wait, that's the keyboard stuff. Okay. Alright, so now we have more access, but we still need access to the whole keyboard, so let's zoom out some more. We're going to take out this little board. Okay, so many dust balls are coming out of the fans, but there we go. Let's actually take a look at the inside of the fans, and that looks okay actually after we cleaned it. So, oh, there's some big dust ball here. Okay, there we go. And what else? Now we have to actually pull this whole thing off, and this is the most annoying part, because most likely we're gonna have to just destroy this thing. So we're gonna slowly, carefully try and peel up this black plastic layer. They put little cuts in it that make you more likely to tear it, so just go slow and be very careful. You can see, like, as I pull this, then this one stays down. That's how they will kind of get you to accidentally break it. So I'm just going to go slowly, and hopefully we don't end up with any accidental breaks, but even if we do, it should still work okay. Okay, so we're going to slowly open this, and oh yeah, these circle things are tearing off, I think. Okay, so carefully pulling. You can put your hand over wherever it has those little things that are going to pop up, so you can kind of get some time to help them pull them off, the little dimples. There we go, and yeah, we're going to have to keep helping peel those up so they don't just turn into holes. Okay, and there we go. Alright. And it's peeling up okay. You don't want to rush this and then just tear everything, so I'm going slow, and there we go. There's the random black plastic thing that came in there. So we'll set that aside. Okay, the difficult thing is, how do we... Okay, let's see if we can even pull off this whole copper piece without tearing anything. So we'll go here. Continue peeling. Continue peeling. And continue peeling. Alright, so we got this copper piece off. Alright, so now we got that out. Set that aside somewhere where we can get it back and put it back on later. Alright, you can actually see all the broken, or the little melted plastic dimples that are holding the thing. Okay. Be careful with this. The copper thing keeps trying to fold itself and stick on stuff. Okay, so all that's left, oh, there's like broken bits here. So there's already broken plastic bits from the keyboard, it seems. But yeah, to remove this, we're gonna have to pull up on this metal plate. It looks like, do we have to remove any screws here? No, it looks like there's a layer on top of another layer, and I don't know. I guess let's just remove it anyways to be safe. Are these JS0 or 1s? And there's an upside down screw that's going in from the other side. How do we remove that? Is there access up here? No. I don't know how we would remove that screw, but I guess let's see what happens when we remove the 3 screws from here. Okay. And we got this one down here. And all of these are already holding like the melted plastic stuff. So we'll see. Sorry, there's like little hairs that came out. Alright, and does this metal plate move at all? No. Okay, so this keyboard is likely going to be a huge pain in the butt to replace or repair. Okay, it looks like this plate doesn't really come off. So I'm going to put the screws back in. Put this in. I'm getting super tired. It's already 3:35 a.m. Shoot. But I need to get this part done so that the JB Weld or epoxy can set. Alright, let's put the screw back in. Alright, so let's see if I can actually just punch the keyboard through. Sometimes you can, and yeah, we'll see. Actually, I think this portion is part of the, I don't know if the whole thing is, but this portion is part of it. So I guess, actually, let's leave those screws out. Sorry about that. Okay. Three. Then we got these 3 here. Okay, and we got this guy as well. This guy down here. Alright, so let's open this thing up and see if we can punch the keyboard through somehow. So I'm gonna just push on the back here, and actually some of the melted plastic is popping out and somewhat coming out. So we're gonna just be like pushing on this thing to get this to go through. It might work better. Let's see, will it work better if I actually put it this way and then just press down hard so I can kind of push down? And I don't think it's gonna come out. Oh, this side's coming out more. So we're gonna just kind of push that keyboard through. Okay. And some parts come out easily and some don't, so I don't know. Alright, let's see what we got. Little bits of plastic here, not too much came out. Okay. Let's see if that started it enough that we can start ripping things out. So, push it on this side, I think. Okay. It looks like this piece comes out all as one. I don't know if they hid parts of it up underneath. Oh, okay, it feels fine. Alright, how are we going to get all of these out? I'm already super tired, I don't know. You can try using a flathead screwdriver and just pushing on the edges of them. I guess that's not really getting the whole thing out. Okay, so how are we going to do this? Because this stuff pops up. Let's see, can I get this flat tool in there to pry it up? And it looks like I can. So we're just going to be prying these out. It looks like these plastic pieces are actually broken, but they're just staying in there. Okay. Alright. We're going to continue working our way over. I see all these broken plastic pieces. Alright. And work our way over this side and continue just trying to pop this stuff up. So, there we go. I don't know how we're going to get all these out. It's like a huge pain. Usually once I can get a corner, I can just yank on the whole thing. Let's see. We got somewhat of a corner here, but I can't get underneath to kind of yank it out. So, oh, there we go. Okay, use this tool to kind of help pry it up more. And let's see if we can pull this out completely. I might have to do this in the side entrance. So basically you get under there and then you just pull this thing up and out, and hopefully it will break all the little plastic rivets, but it doesn't seem like it's working. Wow, this thing's holding on strong. Okay, I'm not too sure here how we're gonna proceed. Let's see here. Can we somehow get under this side on this one? And yes, we can. Okay, I don't know how we're gonna get all these little dimple ones out, but I think we're just gonna have to slowly, oh, okay, there you go, more of it's coming out. This seems like it's gonna be a pain to clean because there's gonna be all this broken plastic everywhere. Let's get underneath, and yep, all these are coming out. So yeah, hopefully you guys get the idea, and then I can work on this at the side entrance. But basically we're just ripping this metal plate out so that the broken plastic comes out, and yeah. Alright, so I'm gonna pop all of these out and then I'll be back. I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, so after pulling a lot of these, I realized I had to actually also pull this piece off. So this part was basically, oops, sorry, it basically wedges into this, and then this goes up, and then the screws on the side here hold it, but there are also some clips that help hold it in place. Okay, and then basically I just popped it that way, and then we can pull this out. So we're going to set that aside. Alright, and there's some screws we need to remove in here to remove the screen and everything. Okay, so let's actually go ahead and remove those as well. It looks like we're going to need both JS1 and JS0s for these little ones. Okay, so let's go ahead and remove these screws. Underneath the keyboard was really gross. We'll see if the stuff is still stuck in there. Okay, we're going to switch over now to the JS0s. Actually, do we need to separate that? We don't. Okay, so we don't need to separate the little hinge covers. So we're going to leave those attached to this screen assembly, and we just have to make sure to thread this through. Be careful that you don't damage this cable, otherwise your screen's not going to work anymore. Okay, so be very careful. I don't know how this can go completely through because this is bigger than the hole that it's going to. So how do you get this cable through? You might have to like slightly fold this cable, it looks like, because actually, can we go sideways? Okay, sorry, let's see if you can see. Basically we'd have to fold this cable down, and then we can rotate it some, and then we can get it to go through that way. Okay, look at all that dust that kind of came out onto the screen after I was pushing the keyboard. I'm going to continue pushing this keyboard out, and I'll be back. See you guys in a bit. But yeah, keep in mind this one is a real big pain, so you probably won't want to do it. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. So I was able to get all the clips or the melted plastic bits out. Basically, after I was like kind of lifting it up here, I had to get underneath here and hold this side down. Oh, actually, let me move the screen here so I don't damage it pressing on top. Alright, so basically this whole keyboard, I was getting underneath, holding the keyboard, actual keyboard down, and then while I'm doing that, I'm kind of like pulling up here, and then I was able to get all these clips, or not the clips again, the melted plastic bits out. Okay, so there we go, we got that out. Set that aside. And here's the other keyboard. The keyboard I had to also kind of grab and then just rip all the little melted plastic rivets out. And this is what it looks like. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and put the new keyboard into place. Okay, so line that up, drop that down, and it looks good. We also do want the little this adhesive thing on the back. Problem is, I think they designed this one very different than this. So here you can see the old one has extra holes where the epoxy or JB weld needs to go. The new one doesn't have all those holes. So what we're gonna have to do, first we're gonna have to secure this keyboard into place. Then we're gonna have to put JB weld at each little dot, and then we'll put the what do you call the backlight on top. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab this stuff. So I used cut up credit card bits here, so let's go ahead and open that up. So I saved these for doing this, and let me show you how this works. So we got all these broken pieces. We're gonna flip this over. You want to hold the keyboard into place, and basically we're going to be inserting little shims to hold this up into place. So you can see we can kind of hold up in here. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll get a small little piece of cut up credit card and put it in that gap there, and that will basically pull the keyboard up into place. Okay, so we're gonna have to do that all around the keyboard. So let's go on the function key as well here. Okay, just like that. Okay, and we're just gonna continue all through the whole keyboard. Again, you wanna make sure that all of this is good. It seems good, so I think we should be okay. All right, let's go ahead and continue putting pieces of this in. So again, we're gonna now lift up this asterisk key and then get that piece under there. All right, and that will hold that. Let's do the delete key down here. All right, and that will hold there. What else? Up arrow key. Okay. Alright. And then you kind of want to push on the bottom of the keys to see if it's kind of somewhat holding up towards the mesh. Alright, we're going to do this key. Actually, since we already did one down there, can we do this one? Will that be okay? Yep. Alright, so now we'll put a little shim on that key. Hold that up. Put that under there. Make sure also that it's not overlapping on another key. Okay, because you want it to hold itself down, just like that. Alright, let's see what else we got. Space bars tend to be floppy, but you can't really put a shim there, I feel. Let's try putting this big one and see if it will hold it up. Kind of. Alright. So let's go ahead and pull up on letter T. Alright. And what else? Letter I. pull this up. We'll get another shim in there. Okay, let's have it go through the O as well. And yeah, for the most part, what you do now is you press on the bottom of the keyboard and see if it pokes a lot more through the frame. And if every area looks okay, then we can flip it over and proceed to do the JB Weld portion. And it does look to be okay, so we'll flip this over. We're gonna have to mix up a bunch of JB Weld, and then we're gonna have to plop it into the little screw mount, or not the where the melted plastic used to be. Okay, so I'm getting too tired for this. The good thing about this design is it looks like there's not a crazy amount of little holes for to support it. So let's go ahead now and take this, and we're gonna mix up some JB Weld. We might need quite a bit because we're gonna have to also stick back on that metal plate. So after we get this done, we're gonna go ahead and stick this on top, and then if there's more spots that need the JB Weld, we'll add that, and then so on and so forth. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the JB Weld, and we're probably going to need quite a bit here, so squeeze like that. Okay. Hopefully that's good. Quite a bit of JB Weld. Okay, then we're gonna roll the screwdriver to get that stuff off. Okay, like this one. Alright, then part 2, we gotta squeeze an equal amount. I'm not 100% sure if that's equal, because the other one's like all spread out like that, but I think we should be good. Okay. Alright, so we got that. Let's go ahead and scrape the excess off the screwdriver. Alright, let's go ahead and now stir up the two components and then work on filling all the little divots. So, stir this up. Sorry, I'm going out of view of the camera. You can fast forward if you want. I'm just stirring this stuff up. Make sure to scrape all the stuff off the base. Stir it in. Okay, scrape that up. Scrape that out. And continue stirring. You want a nice, even color. You don't want any swirls of the other color. Okay. Oh, there's a lot of it. Didn't mix in. Okay. Okay, so we got this pretty much all mixed together. So now what we're gonna do is we're basically gonna fill up all the little dimples in here. Oops, if my phone charging, it's overheating. Hopefully it's still gonna be okay. All right, so every one of those little dots, we're gonna just put some JB Weld on it, okay? And you don't want a crazy mount, you just want a little dimple to hold the dimple to the keyboard. That's it. Okay, and we're basically going to do this onto the entire area of the keyboard. This one's missing the whole plastic piece, so we're going to put a little extra. Okay. Alright, you get the idea. Again, you can fast forward if you want. Or you can follow along if you want. It's a long, tedious process here. Just filling every one of these little dots. Alright, this one has some extra play here, I feel, so I'm gonna get a little shim and put it in between, probably at the S or the D. So probably the S here. Get another shim and get it under there. Okay, sorry, I know I'm going out of view of camera, but hopefully you get the idea. And this kind of JB Weld, it does take a while to set, though technically overnight would be enough since the keyboard doesn't do or take too much stress or force. So, okay, I feel like that one's gonna need some extra shim as well. That one's wiggling more than expected. Let's see. Not really. I think it's just the keyboard itself, maybe. Let's actually put one at this key. The whatever, less than, greater than bracket thingy. Okay. Put that like that. But now it's also pushing on it, so I don't know if that's gonna work. I might have to cut some of these shims shorter. Let's cut this one in half. Again. Okay. Shove that under there. Okay. And hopefully that's good. Let's go ahead and continue putting little drops of the JB Weld. Ooh, okay, let's see, make sure I'm not missing any spots. This one needs more. Okay, we're missing some up here. Continue checking up and down the board. Don't want to miss any. If you do miss some, it won't be too big of a deal. It'll kind of just be a little smushier as a keyboard, but it should still work even if you don't do this part. Just continue. The customer was like, seemed like urgent to get it back. They said they need it for, or their kid needs it for school. We're doing what we can, so. Oh, I'm so tired. I might have to call it quits and continue this tomorrow. I think at the least I need to get that the keyboard stuck into place, and then the rest doesn't technically need to be that secured down, because when we screw stuff into the board, it will kind of hold itself in place. Okay, and yeah, you're probably not even seeing what I'm doing. Let's zoom out more. I made way too much JB Weld. Sorry if my head's getting in the way. Need a better view, especially with the glare coming off of it. Oh, I'm too tired here. Okay, what else? I think we got all of them. Let me take a look again. Alright, you always want to do multiple checks to make sure. Alright, looks like we got it all. Let's go ahead now and put in the backlight. So the backlight's like this. I'm gonna have to peel this stuff off. So let's see, how can I do this? Do I gotta peel one side first? It's extra difficult to do this because we have to line it up with the JB Weld stuff on there. So let's go ahead and peel the whole thing off. And the main thing you gotta do is line up the screw holes at the outside. I think then we should be good. Okay. Slowly dropping it down. And hopefully it's lined up well. Looks like it's a little crooked, but I don't know if we can peel it back up at this point. I think it's stuck in there now. This side is a little too low. Okay, let's see if I can peel it up now. And move it just a tad. Oh! Didn't mean to peel the whole thing up. And line that up. And drop that in. Okay. I think that's pretty centered. It's not 100% centered, but it's pretty close. Let me see. If I can lift it back up, then I can do a little bit more adjustment. But I think it's actually good there. Yeah, it doesn't really want to separate now. So we're just going to leave it there. Clean all this glue that I kept accidentally touching off my fingers. Okay, so we're going to kind of go around. Uh-oh, what is that? Why is there a big rock there? Is that a sharp point sticking up, I guess? Yeah, I think that's one of the spots that didn't work right. Oh. Make sure there's no JB Weld on that. Okay, so I don't know. I kind of feel like I should try and peel this off and then transfer this one over instead of using that one, because this one has all the holes that are needed. But I don't know if it can be transferred or not. Let's see. I'm going to try and peel it up. Okay, let's see if we can separate this. But then that means I used the other one for nothing if that's the case. Okay. It is separating. I don't know if the layers are still going to be okay after this. Okay. Ugh, so much gross stuff coming out of it. Let's see if I can reuse this old one instead, because this old one lines up better. It has all the little places where the screws go. This one has the LEDs at the bottom. The other one has the LEDs sorry, the other one has the LEDs in the center. So let's see if we can peel this off. Okay, I should not have to use this one. So let's go ahead and peel this up. Okay, so it has little dots of JB Weld, but anyways, we're gonna go ahead and put this one back on there because the issue wasn't with the backlights, the issue was with the keyboard. So we should be able to technically just reuse this and it should be fine. Okay, I think that's good. All right, so now we have that all lined up, and now we can actually push all of this down. Okay, all the little pieces are still in there, pulling the keyboard up. Perfect. Let's see, now we have the, oh shoot, what's this on? No, we had the metal plate. Okay, and also we have the copper one. Where did the copper one go? We have too many of this stuff. Okay, so we're gonna get this metal plate back on somehow. Make sure we're not smashing any of the cables. And drop that in. And this kind of will sit here. It doesn't sit completely flush, so how am I gonna fix this? I think this part I'm gonna have to do afterwards because, oops, I'm getting little dots of JB Weld all over my hand. But I think I'm gonna have to do this as a second component because I don't know if I can get this all lined up. Can I? No. Let me try and smush it down maybe. But, did this have a copper part on it? Where was the copper part? I'm gonna have to rewatch my video and see how this went on there. How did this go on there? Like that. So this goes on that way, but where did the copper piece come from? So give me a second, I'll be back. Alright, so I'm back. Let's get this thing back on here. So this one lined up like this. Okay, let's see if I can center it. Okay, that, and then this all just follows, I guess. Maybe this is supposed to be higher up a little bit. Okay. And we'll push all this down. Alright. Some broken plastic still attached. Alright, so there we go. We got that copper piece in. Alright, next we need this one to go on as well. Center that, center that. And center those. Okay, and we just stick this all down. Oh, where'd I get all this JB Weld on my hand from? Uh-oh. It's not good. To accidentally hit the pile that's next to the laptop. Okay, let's see about now making sure this is secured down. I don't know how we're gonna make sure this is secured down because it's gonna need like some weights or something holding it. At least I feel it's gonna need some weights holding it. Okay, pop that down into place, and do some JB weld on there. I'm not sure how I'm gonna keep this from popping back up. So we need something somewhat heavy here. Is this heavy enough? Kind of, sort of, not really. This might be heavier. Okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do this in multiple parts because I don't know how I'm gonna keep all of this like pressed down. Need something heavier to hold on to it. Probably I'll put my phone on it once I stop recording, so I'm gonna glue down this side. Problem with this glue is I mix so much of it expecting to do it all at once, so it's all gonna be wasted. We're gonna have to peel this stuff up so we can put the JB weld and stuff over here, because this is covering a lot of the spots that need the JB weld. So these have like raised mounts that I can help push down and it will hold it into place, but not all of them. This is tough. I don't know. I'm probably going to do the rest off camera because this is just going to continue on and on for a very long time. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Alright, so to weigh it down, I got these 3 rolls of tape and then I got all these old broken MacBook screens. And we're going to let that sit overnight. See you guys later. Alright, so it's been several hours now. Let's go ahead and see if we can reassemble this. So we're going to take these screens that we used for weights off. Okay. Alright, take these rolls of tape off. Okay, so we got that. Let's go ahead and flip this over. Oops, I think I knocked some of the screws over, so I'm going to have to be careful here. Alright, so we can now take these pieces of chopped up paper or sorry, credit cards out, or whatever, debit cards, or these were like junk mail. Okay, we're just gonna get all these out, and then we're gonna have to reassemble this thing. Problem is, am I gonna remember what I took out? Got all this. Okay. All right, so keyboard now types perfectly fine. We're gonna now have to migrate everything over. So let's go ahead, we'll flip this over. Okay, and let's see here. We're gonna need all the little pieces. We got the motherboard, we got this piece here. Okay, so this piece was the one that went up like this, and then it just sat under there. So this goes in at an angle. You want to get the little feet hooked in, and then it goes up like that. So I don't know if, okay, it does have clips that hopefully will stay in, so I don't have to keep holding it. Yep, there we go. Oh, nope, I guess not. The clips don't actually hold well. So let's see how we're gonna do this. I gotta take out these extra screws that I put here that were just helping to hold the thing in place. So we're gonna get rid of these two screws. Man, I knocked this stuff over, so now it's gonna be a little bit tricky for me. I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on here. Okay, we got the motherboard here. Okay, but I think we have to actually put the screen in first. So let's get the screen here. And the screen was a little tricky because the cable needs to go through like this weird hole system, right? So we do have to take this piece off first. Okay, and then this goes in here. We do have to get this cable to go through this little gap here again. So we had to kind of curl the cable and then go in sideways. Okay, let's see which side. Oh yeah, so this side has the longer, and then the cable comes here. So we're gonna have to put this side in first. Again, we'll just go through like this at an angle. All right, there we go, and then get the rest through. There we go. All right, now we'll get this all the way in. This sits like that. Okay. Now we're gonna flip this guy back over, and if I remember correctly, there were two screws here that we needed to put back. The problem is I mixed stuff up now, so I'm gonna have to rewatch my video and then see if I can figure out what happened. Oh, actually, I got these two here. Okay, so I got this screw. These are JIS 1. Okay. Pretty sure it's this guy. Make sure I put in the right hole. This one. Okay, tighten that down, and then we got this guy. We'll tighten that down. All right, so it looks like that. I'm gonna flip this over and take a look and make sure. Yep. Okay, that's how the screw was semi-protruding like that, barely out of the hole. So those are, it uses the slightly longer screws there. Okay, let's see now if we can put this, if it will stay, since we put the screen back in. Probably not, but let's see. Okay, yeah, it doesn't really even click. I'd have to like hold it. So this piece, actually, okay, now it is holding itself. So I guess the screen needs to be in for it to hold itself there. All right, we got the cable here, which, let's see, hopefully we're not gonna mix stuff up and do it in a weird order. All right, if I remember correctly, this goes this way. All right, and let's see, can we fit this in? Oh yeah, the other thing is the what do you call this one? The keyboard backlight cable needs to be plugged in first, so I'm gonna move this stuff out of the way and plug that in. I don't know why they put this kept on tape here, but that's what they use, so we'll just leave it. Okay, and then this wire needs to be plugged in first there, just like this. Get that in. All right, and then latch that down. Okay, good. And this thing had no like real like way it was sitting, it was just in there. So all right, so we're gonna now get this lined up. So we have the little raised mount here. We'll drop that on. Make sure the cables aren't getting trapped underneath. Okay, just like this and like that. And that looks like it's good. It's holding itself in the right spot. Okay, LCD LVDS cable here. This latch goes up. Then we'll get this cable in, make sure it goes, oops, let me zoom in a bit here. Okay, make sure it goes in at that angle here. All right, and then latch that down. Okay, looks good. All right, what else? We have the wireless antennas. Oops, let's zoom out here. Hopefully we're getting everything in the right spots. Let's go ahead and plug the black one in first. You want to line it up. Once you get it lined up, it hooks on a little bit, and then you can click it down. Same thing with the white one. Okay, hooks on, click it down, there we go. Okay, then we got this. It goes around this part of the motherboard. Get that hooked in there. Okay, and then this kind of just sits down here. The only thing is the adhesive probably isn't strong enough anymore. Okay, then we got the speaker cable down here. We're gonna get that one in, line that up, pinch that, push that in. Okay, the keyboard cable I'm gonna have to figure out because that one was all wonky. But this, you can see how they kind of folded it all kind of weird here for this keyboard backlight. Right, we can go ahead and plug in the CMOS BIOS, CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery. So line that up and pinch that in. Make sure you have it the right way, especially if you're replacing the battery. The red wire is going out towards this side, the black wire is going towards the RAM slot. Right, we're gonna now plug in the touchpad, trackpad connector. That. Make sure the latch is up when you go to put this in. If my hand's in the way, I'm sorry, but hopefully you get the idea. Okay, get that in, and then slide your finger over to latch it down. Okay, I need to look at the old broken keyboard to see how to fold the wire, because it's like folded kind of weird. So I guess they folded on this GY550. Do they have this marks here? Okay, so they have the same GY550 here. So I'm gonna fold it like that. Okay, so like this. And then the other one, oh, GY550 again. So it folds back up this way. And where's that mark here? GY550 here. Okay. You have the lines there so you can know what to fold. And then that should allow it to go straight through like this. Yep. Okay, latch that down. Perfect. And you can see the cable just sits like that. All right, what's next? We have this little USB board that we got to put back. We also have the SSD that was here. Was there? Oh yeah, okay, so this, was that right? Pretty sure this piece went on here because that's the SSD mount. Yep, okay. Then we get this guy here. There we go. Then we get the SSD in. Okay, eventually we're gonna have to put this piece on that covers 3 spots. So we need the fan first. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get the fan in first. And if we look at the heatsink, it will need to go that way and that way. Okay, let's get all the dirt and dust out of it. Okay, so the fan sits on it like that and like that. All right, and then make sure you put the fan connector in the right way. You want the exposed metal pins here. Oops, sorry. Okay, they drew actually some marker on top so you don't put it in upside down. Okay, you can also take a look and you can see the pins are lower down in the connector. So if you look in here, yep, And also it has the little notches that these little protruding things go into. Right, so we'll get that, pinch the two together. There we go, perfect. Okay, let's see if I got this right. I think we had the long screw up here. And I hope I'm putting this right. Okay, we have the other fan here. Okay, line that up. Oh, this is missing that protruding piece that helped it go in place. All right, and then this one, you have the two little nubs sticking out towards the two little holes there. So that's how you know which way to plug this one in. All right, and then same thing, we have a long screw. Am I mixing stuff up here? I hope not. Okay, we got this little board, and this board, does it have to go under the fan? I think it does. So let's get this little board here under the fan. Line up the USB port. Okay, drops in place just like that. Then, oh, it looks like we have to put like a screw under here first. Let's see, there's two different kinds of screws, so let me see if I'm gonna put the right one. And actually, it doesn't line up with a screw mount, so I guess there's no screw there. It's just tricking me. I don't know why they pointed to it, or maybe they're pointing to the one for this fan. Okay, but there was one screw down here, I remember. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that one screw. Was it this one or the super tiny one? Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna re-watch my video, I think, and figure this out. I'll be back. All right, I think I figured it out. So we had these smaller, short silver ones that went under here, I believe. All right, and holds that in place. We got another one on this side. I probably should have put that while the epoxy was setting, but it looks like it's holding, so we should be okay. All right, then we got the two longer ones, one on this hole here for the hinge. Tighten that all the way down, and then a second one for this hole up here. Okay. Hopefully it's holding on. All right. There we go. Okay, so we got all those in. We're gonna go on this side, do the same thing. Okay, one here. Perfect. And the other one here. And these help hold this plastic thing in place. Oop, did the plastic thing fall out of place? So, yeah, so this is supposed to hold this in place. Okay, so get that in. Oops, sorry, hold that. Alright, so that holds this bracket in place. I don't know why this one wasn't. Maybe this doesn't actually hold that bracket in place, but here we go. So now it holds all of this. Let me double check this one. Okay, yeah, you want to hold that up in place and then tighten that down, and that will hold that metal or that little cover, hinge cover piece in place. Okay, so next we got another one of those silver screws up here holding the fan. It's missing the little other pin that helps guide it, so we're gonna put the black screws. I just loosely fit it first. Okay, I do need to switch over to a JS0 for the smaller screws. So put that, and I loosely fit it as well. And now that we got all three in, we can go ahead and tighten it down. Okay. Switch back over to the JS1 and tighten this one down. Alright, we're getting there. Alright, let's go ahead and grab the other screw here. And we'll get that, oops, that's over here for this one. Okay, let's see if we can get all these other bracket ones in. So we have all the screws that were up here that we need to put back as well. So this piece, this went where, here? Yep, okay. So, got this screw right there. Okay, got this screw here. Got this screw here. Got this one down here. Then we got these longer ones. Let me see, there's two. So, okay, so we skipped the middle one. It only goes on these. Okay, so that, loosely fit it first. Make sure it lines up right. Okay, tighten that down. Might need to switch to the JS1 for that. We don't want to strip the screw. Yep. Okay. Are these all JS1? Nope. 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 Okay, those are all JS0. Only these two are JS1. Okay, don't forget to reconnect this little piece down here. So we got that. I'm going to fit this piece in. Okay. Latch that over, and I'm pretty sure this one little screw came from down there. Probably need to double check, but goes in there. Okay, what else we got? We got the battery, we got the hard drive thing that's not connected to anything, but we can go ahead and put that in. Let me get it better. It's a little tricky to get this guy in. Come on. There we go. Latch it over with your finger. Line these up. And we only had, if I remember correctly, 3 screws for this one. And I think because one is for the battery, so we had this screw here. Okay, we have this screw in this corner. And then we have the one screw at the bottom here. Okay, sorry if it's somewhat going out of view. Alright, then we gotta put the battery back. Hopefully we got everything else right. I have, what are these random 4 screws that I have? These are for the battery. Okay. Alright, so we got the battery. We're gonna put the battery back in. Okay, make sure everything lines up. Push that in. Oops, sorry. Get that all lined up. Pinch that in. Make sure it's clicked in all the way. Alright, we got the 4 battery screws. We're going to put those. This one here. This one over here. This one up here. And then we have this bracket that goes on top, but we need to put the screw in first. Okay, so this other battery screw here. There we go. We got the battery installed. Now we just got to put in this little heat spreader bracket thing. So this goes on top this way. Okay. This. Oops. And it helps to loosely fit the screws to get it to line up. So we'll loosely fit that one. Loosely fit that one. And then this last guy here. There we go. Then you can go ahead and tighten them all down. And then we got to do the heatsink with the, we got to clean off all this old thermal paste. And then we got to redo the heatsink. All right. If you don't put that, your computer's going to overheat and you're going to have some major problems. We're switching back now to the JS1 screwdriver. And let's go ahead now and get some paper towel and clean off the old thermal paste here. So kind of just wipe it off. Whoa, this thermal paste is actually pretty solid, so it was actually probably overheating. Usually the paste should be kind of gooey, not solid like this. So I'm gonna have to use a little tool, plastic tool, to kind of scrape it out from the edges there, but for now we're just gonna wipe this stuff up. And I'm gonna have to hold it upside down over a trash can, so I won't be able to really record that, but basically we're holding it upside down so that way this stuff that flakes off falls into the trash can and not into the motherboard. So let me clean that up, as well as the stuff that's on here. We're gonna scrape all that off and I'll be back. All right, see you guys in a bit. All right, so I'm back. We got most of it scraped off. We're gonna now use some isopropyl alcohol and paper towel to try and clean off a little bit more of the residue. Actually, this still has some stuff stuck in the little bits here, so we can kind of like brush this and see if it'll come out, but it doesn't need to be perfect. Like, people that did it before, they like way overflow what's there. So anyways, we're gonna now use the isopropyl rubbing alcohol and the paper towel to just clean that off. Okay, dry it up. Same thing, we're only cleaning the shiny silver dye part, okay? Don't need to clean the rest. Okay, pull the residues off. What is that? Looks like there's like a mark on the CPU there. Alright, anyways, we're gonna set that aside now. We gotta now clean up the heatsink one, so same thing. We got the isopropyl rubbing alcohol on the paper towel. Just gonna wipe it. Okay. And you want to be careful not to push down too hard. You don't want to bend the heat pipes. Okay. I'm gonna use some new paper towel and some more isopropyl rubbing alcohol because it feels like there's still some of the old paste stuck there. Okay, and just kind of clean it off. Like that. You can see all that grossness coming out. Okay, so we're gonna move that aside. Let's go ahead and get this back lined up. We're gonna apply a new thermal paste and then put the heatsink back on, and then hopefully we can power it up and everything should be good to go. All right, so here we go. Let's actually zoom in more so you can kind of see better. All right, so this is the GPU, and because it's a square, oh, there's stuff like stuck to it. Okay, well, all right, so because it's a square, we only need to do like a circled dot in the middle, and this stuff spreads really thin, so even this is kind of probably more than enough. If you want, you can put a little bit extra to be sure, but it should be plenty. Okay, we'll try and center it all up. Alright, and then the CPU, because it's like a line, we have to do kind of a line across. And you don't need a really thick line either, because it spreads super thin, and that super thin spread will push it all out to the edges, okay? So we're gonna kind of just shape this line here. Okay, so basically we're just making a thin line here, and then as we put the weight of the processor on and tighten it down, it will spread it completely flat out. Okay, might need a little more for this one. Okay. Okay, that's actually more than enough now at this point, and we're just going to try and evenly space it. Okay, so there we go. Now we got the line there, and we got the dot on the other one. We're going to zoom out, and let's go ahead and put the heatsink back on. So the heatsink, pretty straightforward. they have numbers on it to tell you which one to screw down first. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Anyways, we're gonna line this up, and you want to make sure it lines up with the screw mounts here. Also, make sure that none of these screw mounts are gonna be blocked by any screws, that you didn't accidentally put the wrong screws somewhere. Okay, so we should be good. I see everything looks clear there. Slowly lower this down into place. All right, and here we go. So first, number 1, twist till you hear a click. 1, 2, 3. Number 2, click. 1, 2, 3. Number 3, click. 1, 2, 3. Number 4, click. 1, 2, 3. Number 5, click. 1, 2, 3. Number 6, click. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to go back again. 1, 1, 2, 3. Oh, that tightens all the way. 2, tighten that all the way. 3, tighten that all the way. 4, tighten that all the way. 5, tighten that all the way. And 6, tighten that all the way. Okay. You can double check each one. Don't like tighten it too hard. The springs will pull it down on its own, so you don't need to worry about over tightening it. Okay, so there we go. We got that all reassembled here. And I don't know if they gave me their charger. I'm gonna have to see, because it might not turn on without the charger. I don't remember seeing a CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery on this, so most likely this main battery also acts as that. Keep that in mind. All right. Oh, they did give me the charger. So I'm gonna just click the back in here. So we have access to the charger. Pinch that so it clicks. And let's go ahead and plug this guy in and make sure it works okay. All right. The reassembly wasn't that bad, and maybe it's because I got 0 sleep, so I don't know. All right, let's plug this guy in. Okay, do we have a light? Yes, we do. There's a little white light there. Gonna open this up. Oh, the keyboard was already lit up, so hopefully nothing weird is going on there. The power light is also lit up. I don't know if you can see. There you go. It's already lit up. So maybe it turned itself on. We're just gonna give it a little time, see if it's power cycling. Caps lock light's not doing anything. Yeah, okay, the screen is lighting up slightly. There you go, and we got the Lenovo Legion, and it's booting up. So I think we should be good to go. We can go ahead and pop all the little clips back into place and then put all the screws in. I'm gonna do, usually I recommend doing a restart one time, not a shutdown, but a restart, because when it detects new hardware, you wanna do that. Okay. And then let's pop all the clips in. You kind of want to pinch the 2 layers together. Don't just push down on top. Okay, and it looks like it's restarting, so we should be good to go. I'm gonna test out the keyboard backlight. Let me see if I turn off the light. Can you see it? Yes, I can. So we can see the keyboard backlight. It's working, and we should be good to go. It's restarting itself. But yeah, that's pretty much it. We're gonna put back all the screws. Hopefully this video helped you out. Again, if it did, please make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps, and it really does help me continue to make these videos for a living. If you can send like a super or whatever those things are called, that'd be greatly appreciated. And yeah, if you can't do that, it's also very helpful if you can watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on them as well, because that's what the YouTube algorithm likes to see. All right, we're going to use the JS1 screwdriver and get all these screws back in now, and that should be it. Obviously, you do want to make sure the keyboard keys press OK, so I'll press them all down. Since I don't have access to their actually, I think they did give me the password, so I'm gonna open it up, and then I'm gonna just use the notepad and then type out like the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog or whatever. And yeah, so let's see here. Okay, let me make sure that I've got too many messages here, so I gotta figure out which is which. Okay, I think I got it. Alright, so let's get all these screws back in. Everything looks good. Right, last screw. There we go. Let's flip this back over and let's sign in. I can't let you guys see the password, so I'm gonna have to hold it off to here. Okay, and open Notepad. Okay, so I'm gonna open Notepad here. Hopefully their stuff isn't gonna all open on top of it, but here you can see we have Notepad, and I'm gonna now type the, oops, what is this? Oh, log me in stuff is trying to open. Okay, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Oops. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0 dash plus backspace works, enter works, that key works, semicolon colon works, these work, the right shift key works, caps lock works, tab works, tilde works. Okay, I'm gonna hold the function key. Mute works, volume down works, volume up works, microphone off works and on, brightness down, brightness up works. Yeah, I think all of these are gonna turn off. The trackpad works, so I think they all should work. Calculator, okay. What about the number pad? 1 2, oops, turn on numlock. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, plus minus asterisk that dash home end page up. Wait, page up, page down. Do I need to type a whole bunch to make that work? I thought it would just go to the top. Page up. Nope, nothing's happening. Okay, yeah, I do have to type further down. So that works, and delete key works. So I think we should be good. Control A, Control X, all works. Alt Tab, that works. Oops, Alt Tab, that works. And yeah, the function key definitely works. And Control Shift Escape, and that works. So we should be good to go. Looks good. This keyboard actually feels nicer than the original one. I don't know, the texture feels like has like a little slight roughness to it. This one turned like weird glossy. But yeah. Anyways, it has like a powder coating finish almost. But that's pretty much it. Don't save that, and then we're gonna shut it down. So yeah, pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. All right, let's drop this spike.